You're listening to the Dream and Achieve Project, and I am your host, Brent Fierstead. Funny thing happened to me on my way to true happiness and success as a fitness trainer and entrepreneur. I made every mistake in the book. But there's one thing that sets me apart. I focus on goals in front of me, charging ahead, and never looking back. This podcast will help you fight through the struggles life hands you so you're equipped to persevere. All right, guys, welcome back to the Dream and Achieve Project. I'm here with Matthew Thayer. This is episode 10. We're going to talk about Forex trading, the path he chose to get to that Forex trading career. So, Matt, let's just start out a little bit and give a background on who you are, where you grew up and where you came from.
Yeah, for sure, Brent. First of all, just thanks for having me on here. I look forward to, coming back and listening to this. And, it's crazy, we both come from that same small town, Clear Lake. So, we have that kind of that history. But, going from Clear Lake and then obviously going on to college, and I went to school at Stout. And, what got me into the industry of where I am now, it all actually started back in 2012. 2012, I was going to school at Stout, and I got introduced to the industry of, network marketing. It was a travel club, and, I was 22 years old at the time. I had that drive and that energy that I wanted more. While I was going to school, I was kind of just going through the motions. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Didn't really know, what field I wanted to get into. People told me to go into business because it was easy and I could get a degree and I could play sports. So, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And, got introduced to the industry of network marketing, started my very first business back in 2012, had absolutely no success. I was in that for about 12 months. Kind of just fell out of it. A lot of my friends told me it was a scam, it was a pyramid. And it just kind of got to me eventually, and I just kind of stopped doing it. And then I just, started going back to school, started working, and ended up working car sales over at Ken Vance in Eau Claire. And stumbled upon a video on Facebook of one of my buddies that's my business partner now. And it was a trip that he took over to Catalina Islands and down into Ensenada, Mexico. He took a cruise with a bunch of his friends, and I knew what business he was in because it was the same exact business that I started in 2012. And I saw that he was able to, have success with that business. He was traveling, and to be completely honest, I was just a little bit jealous. I was sitting at my desk, it was snowing out. My boss was just telling me to go out there and shovel off snow off all these cars. And here I am, I'm seeing, one of my friends traveling around with his friends, living that dream that I had back in 2012. And I just ended up reaching out to him, wanting to learn more how he was able to do it. Kind of like, you reaching out to me, wondering kind of what I do. I had that same exact curiosity of, how are you able to have success and I wasn't? We ended up connecting, and I ended up actually rejoining that business with him in 2015, that same exact company. And what was crazy is I finally had that mentor. And, when you asked me, how did I get to where I am now? It's all responsible from mentors and just certain people coming into my life at certain times. So I ended up locking arms with him in 2015. He showed me exactly, how to have success in that business. And, I still had the work ethic. I still had the desire. And, I went feet first, head first, and just jumped right in. Went all in, ended up walking away from my job about 30 days into the business. Wasn't really making any money, but I trusted the guy, and I just went all in. And that was a 2.5-year period of just grinding that business out. Hit one of the top ranks in that company, cracked my first 6-figure income in that company,
Nice
qualified for their BMW bonus. Picked up a BMW, and everything was great. But it all came crashing down. Some things happened in that company. They stopped paying their reps. They stopped paying their commissions. So over a 8-9 month period, they weren't paying any commissions. So it was time for something new.
Change it
And
up. Yeah.
that's what led me to what I'm doing actually right now. So I'm still in the industry of network marketing. Me and my buddy Joey, so his name's Joey Wilson. Me and my buddy were looking. We were the two top guys in that company, and we were just kind of looking at different things. Like we looked at isogenics. We sat down with Hayden Vavra, one of the top income earners in isogenics. We sat down with my uncle, that is the master distributor of a company called Valentis, and none of them really fit with us. We were looking for something that we could do that had room for growth, that was a little bit newer, and something that we could really go cast a big net and capitalize on the market share, and have something that was newer, have something that was sexy, and have something that we could use all of the knowledge that we had, but apply it into a company that we would see results right away. So we actually picked iMarkets Live because of that reason. iMarkets Live is only a 5-year-old company. It deals with Forex. It's an educational platform that will teach the average person how to trade, how to leverage your money, how to make money in the foreign currency market and the cryptocurrency market. For me personally, to be completely honest, when we first saw this company, we sat down with the executive vice president, Alex Morton, and I knew nothing about Forex. When he was talking about Forex and trading, it all went completely over my head. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And to be completely honest, I'm not really interested in the Forex part of it. I'm interested in, let's go build a massive team. Because we saw the compensation plan, it was 10 times better than our previous company. In our previous company, it took about 500 customers to make $2,000 a month. Here, 500 customers pays you $10,000 a month. So we decided to just launch with this company. Went down to Miami. We stayed at Alex's house. We shot a video. We flew from Miami down to Costa Rica. We saw a big event with about 5,000 different people. Made a cool, little video that was to launch our business. And we just went on a 90-day run. We launched our business in that 90-day run. And we ended up putting about 800 customers in that 90-day period, hit the top rank, or one of the top ranks within iMarkets Live. And, that was 8-9 months into the business, being at that rank. But what I realized, and what really hit me in the face, and I believe is the way God wanted it to happen for me, because he really has led me to where I am now. 8 months into the business, we put in those 800 customers, but we had almost 500, either quit or fall off. We had really bad retention. And one of the reasons was because, Brent, if you decided to get started with me, you would have asked me, Matt, do you trade? Do you know how to trade? I signed up with you. Where do I go? Yeah. And my answer to everybody was, I don't know. You just got to follow, the academy. You got to figure out an educator to follow. And that's how we conducted our business for our first 8-9 months. But then it dawned on me, we came to a point in our business where we had to do something. It was either we had to figure it out, or we were going to have to do something different. We were going to have to do a different company, because we weren't the traders. We didn't know how to trade. And for some reason, I fell upon, so just like I saw Joey on Facebook, I ended up seeing someone in our organization have success trading on Facebook. They posted it on Facebook. They achieved something called the 500 to 5K challenge. And I saw his success on his Facebook, and I ended up reaching out to him, and I just said, are you part of iMarkets Live? What is this? How did you grow your account from $500 to $5,000 in 30 days? And he got me on a session kind of like this, a Zoom session, where I was able to watch a guy, an educator, trade for about an hour. And I watched him trade. He's out of New York. He's a 7-figure trader. Started watching him trade. And there was about 200 people on the call. He cleared a trade, and then he just said, if anybody made money, type $signs in the chat. Well, I saw the chat just flood with numbers and everybody making money. And I was like, this is really cool. And I got excited about it. I funded my very first account with $500 of August of 2018. So that was about, 8, 9, 10 months into the business, when I finally started to actually trade and use the product that iMarkets Live actually offers. And started my very first account with $500. Started following Ness on Zoom, and I was able to grow my account from $500 to about 2,000 in my first 60 days. It was nothing crazy. Everybody else was making 5,000, and I only made 2. So I was a little bit discouraged, but
Hey, it's money, man. You
I,
made something.
I made a little bit, but I stuck around because everybody around me was achieving the 5K challenge. So they were making 5,000, but I was only making 2. And I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I've always been that kind of, mentality where, if I see someone else that can do something, I believe that I can do it. If I see Stephen Curry nailing threes on the, on TV and basketball, I'm just wired that way where I feel like I can do that.
I'm the same way, man.
So, I seen people winning with it. So I was like, you know what? I need to learn this strategy. I need to, be more, focused. So I really started watching Ness even more, and I started kind of really diving into how he traded. And I started having more success, but there came a month, I think it was in December of 2018. So just last December, where Ness started losing. He started, not calling winning trades. And I'm responsible for about 1,000 customers in my organization. So when I have customers hitting me up saying, "Hey, I'm losing with Ness. Hey, I'm losing with Ness. What's going on with Ness? Why do we keep losing?" And I just took it upon myself to start holding my own Zoom sessions and start trading with my team, just with them. And that's where it all kind of started. I had about $2,000 in my broker account. I was calling out trades with the team on Zoom, but then also in person. And over my first 4 months of doing that, I was able to, be correct over 80%. I grew my account from 2,000 to about 11,000. And then I grew it from 11,000 to over 33,000. And then over the last about 6 months, I've been able to take that 33,000 and grow it to over $294,000 in my broker account right now. So I'm able to call myself a multiple 6-figure trader. The company just reached out to me actually to make me an educator for the company. So many different teams wanted to start hopping on my session. So all these leaders and all these companies or in these teams within this company were taking notice of my trading sessions, and all their team was like, "Hey, we want to be on your team. Hey, we want to be on your team." So they had no other whatever they had to make me an educator, otherwise everybody would have just joined my team. So I'm officially now an IML educator for the company, and that whole journey is what got me to where I am right now. And everybody will look at my timeline on my Instagram and my Facebook, and it'll just look like sunshine and rainbows. But to be completely honest, there's been so many highs and so many lows. There was highs in my previous company where I thought I was gonna, I was at the top and I was making all this money and I was having an amazing life, and then it all came crashing down. And then we started in this company and we hit a major rank right away, and then it all came crashing down. And then I started to learn how to trade, and now it's just been kind of on that steady up and up and up and up. And I know I'm going to have more tests. And I just learned at a very young age in my career that in order to have a testimony, you have to go through tests. God's going to test you over and over and over and over. So then eventually you'll have a testimony that will not only inspire people, but it'll move people into action to change their own lives. And, every time that I am hit with a wall, I just realize that, I have to accept the wall. I have to go through the wall, and I have to just continue to keep growing and keep getting better. So then eventually I can develop that into my story. But yeah, that's how I got to where I am now.
Dang, man. Well, congrats. First off, that's a hell of a journey, and you're definitely persistent and grinding. And I think the biggest thing that I learned from you is, and I watch your Instagram stories and things like that, is you're ultimately trying to help people, make money. And, I look at entrepreneurs and I that's the biggest thing I see out of entrepreneurs is that value in those people that are trying to build people. And that's a true definition of character. So I congratulate you on your success and all that stuff. Um, as far as podcasts, man, you said you have never done one. It sounds like you you answered like all my questions within that whole thing. So that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that what I just said is basically what I've been saying as the story's been growing. Obviously, over the last couple of years, the story has changed in its ways, but I've been saying that same thing for years. It's just different endpoints.
Yep.
I
Stick to
was
your
never
core
taught.
values.
Yeah, and I think just what separates me and separates the average person is just the overall consistency. What happens a lot of time, Brent, is people will get started with me and they'll have all the desire, they'll have all the dreams in the world coming into the business, but a 30-day period into the business, they've already given up on all those dreams. And the reason for that is because as kids, we have all these dreams. We want to be firefighters, we want to be astronauts, we want to be NBA basketball players, but our parents and society and the educational system keeps telling you that you can't do it.
Yep.
And that you've got to just you got to stick to the system, and you got to go to school, and you got to get good grades, and then you got to go to university, and then you got to get a good degree at university so you can get a good job. And they just program us that that's what we have to do. And we still have a little bit in our 20s and our 30s, we still have just a little bit of those dreams left. So when we see opportunities and we see people living these lavish lifestyles, it catches our interest, and we're willing to give them shots. But the minute we get anything in the wrong way, if we get our friends or our network, give us a little bit of backlash, a lot of people just give up.
Yep.
And they're just like, you know what, it's not going to work for me. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. I'm going to go back to what was comfortable. And that's why they don't have success, because they don't know what's on the other side of getting through that. Back in 2012, when I had no success for the first 12 months and gave up, who knows where I would have been if I would have just kept going past that year and just gotten better and better and just continued to grow from there, instead of waiting until 2015 to make that jump in that consistency.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I'd be 10 times farther.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm a true believer in, things happen for a reason, and you're probably going to be bigger and better with this new opportunity here, so.
Yep.
Let's go back to
sure.
the college days and talk about what's that one thing that made you say, all right, screw this, I can't do this college stuff. I need to do my own thing, start my own thing. What's the one thing that in your mind made you do that?
Well, I mean, I probably can relate to a lot of college students, especially in their 19, 20, 21, time frame. I was at the point where I was only going to school because everyone else was going to school.
Yep.
And, I'd be sitting in class and for some reason, I was always the person trying to figure out what's the easiest way to get through this class.
Yep.
Who do I got to pay? Who do I got to delegate? What group do I got to get in? I was always the person trying to find like that, not that easier way out, but that smarter way out. And it was the same way with working. I mean, I was working a job while going to school, and, I was working at Verizon, and we got paid commission, and we got paid based upon how many accessories we put on our devices. Well, I was always the type of person that oversold the accessories. Like I'd put a plastic screen protector on your phone on top of the silicone, screen protector on top of the case. And I would sell you on also adding the protection on top of that. And I did that because I realized that I want to make my time worth a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste time. And, while going through school, all my friends and everybody that was surrounding, they were drinking, they were partying, they were, not really doing much of anything. And I just, that one thing I think that stuck out for me was I've always cherished, my time, and that I've always wanted to capitalize on my time, because we don't have all the time in the world on this earth. So you need to do either something that you love, or you need to do something that's actually worth it. Our generation, they call us lazy. They call us that we don't like to work. but it's not that we don't like to work. It's just we don't want to work at something that's not worth working, hard at.
Yeah.
We want to know, what's the end game? If we do this for you, what are we going to get in return?
Yeah.
In a way, we just want to work smarter. And that's just how I felt. I felt like the school system was just such an old way, taking tests, sitting in a classroom and trying to just remember certain terms and facts. And I used to think, I always used to ask the question, when am I ever going to use this in real life? I was the one person in class that if we're in a math class and we're learning about who knows what, I was like, when are we ever going to use this?
Yeah.
And the teacher was always like, well, if you decide to go in this, this such and such field, then you'll maybe use it. And I was like, well, I don't plan on doing that. So why am I learning this? And why are you going to give me an F if I don't learn this? Teach me something that's actually worth learning. Teach me how money works. I wish there was a Forex class back in high school and back in college. I wish someone would have taught people, how to leverage your money, how to get on the right-hand side of the quadrant instead of being on the left-hand side and only exchanging your energy and time for money. Like learning how to leverage people, learning how to leverage systems, learning how to leverage, your money and make it go to work for you. I've learned more in the last year being a part of iMarkets Live than I think I was able to learn in the last 28 years in anything else, because this company at least has taught me, the value of money, what money can do for you. And really money is just an object to obtain either more things, more freedom, or more money. And, to go back to college, it's just, it's that time factor. I hated wasting all of my time. I did it because I wanted to be there because everyone else was. And I also obviously wanted to play football and basketball, but that was it. I was there for experience, lifestyle, and, it was all about, getting the best of what I could out of it.
Yeah. And now you're really passionate about what you do. And obviously you're not working for someone else. You're kind of working for yourself and building your own team up. So, that's a big thing. A lot of us I call everyone like people zombies, because we just walk through life like we're zombies and we're supposed to, like you said, do exactly what we're told. And, that's what I like about you and all the entrepreneurs I have on my show is we all kind of have that same mindset and that grind and that grit to, work for ourselves and help people and stick to our core values at the end of the day. So that's huge.
For sure, man.
Let's talk about what would you say to a kid that wants to skip college? What would you and start their own business? What would you recommend to them? I mean, I know you're not a counselor or anything, but let's hear what your thoughts on that.
And honestly, to answer that question, if you get grants and if you're getting like free tuition, like if you are set up in a place where you'll get like your tuition paid for, you're not going to go into debt from going to college. I would tell even my own son or daughter, I want them to go to college, not to get the degree and not to get the education, but to network.
Yeah.
See, in life, your network is your net worth.
Yes, sir.
So when you're 18, 19 years old, depending on where you're from, like for instance, Brett, if we're coming out of Clear Lake, we're in a town where there's more cows than people. So, our networks aren't very large. And
the cow tipping days.
So when it comes to, your network and being able to monetize your network and being able to, use connections in a business space, if you're a kid coming out of a rural area where you only went to school with maybe 500 people, you're going to have to continue to grow that network. It depends on what you want to do as an entrepreneur. Like if you're just going to start a brick and mortar business, or if you're just going to start, a podcast, or, whatever you want to start as a business, it really just depends on, who are you targeting? What's your network that you're coming to the field with? And if you can't answer the question with, I got a decent network, I know a decent amount of people, I was pretty social in high school, so I was able to cast, with social media, you're able to cast a lot larger net now. But I still think it depends on those true relationships. So a kid that's coming out of high school, I would tell him, if you can go to school for free, pick a very big school, pick like a U of M, pick a Madison, pick a school that you can get into where you're not going to go into debt. whether it's just for 2 years, if you can go to school for 2 years with no debt and go get that experience and then just go network the heck out of it, like literally just go there and add every single person on Facebook, add every single person on Instagram, Snapchat, and just build your network as much as you possibly can for those first 2 years. And then go and start a business, whether it's whatever you decide to do. But if you decide to do network marketing, the amount of work that you put in network wise in those 2 years could pay you millions down the road, because, you know, those networks, everybody knows 100 people that you don't know. So, you know, Brent, you know 100 people that I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, if you decide to join my business, you get to bring in another new 100 clients. If I'm selling real estate and I'm showing you a house and I sell you a house, well, now you're going to bring me 100 more clients that maybe could come buy a house from me. So whatever field you're in or whatever you're trying to do, it's all about your network. So I truly believe that, you know, a fresh new kid needs to go and build their network. So yes, I would say definitely go to school if you're not going into debt.
I love that answer, man. That was great. We talked about mentors on here and how that has helped you in your journey. Let's talk about maybe some books that you have read or some books that you could share with people that have helped you as well.
Yeah, the Success Bible that I always go back to actually is this book right here, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites too, man.
By Napoleon Hill. You know, for me, I've read this book probably 3-4 times now, and I encourage every new entrepreneur to read that book just to kind of reprogram your brain, just think differently, think that things are possible, you know, and just start casting those affirmations and those things for yourself. Because if you're thinking the same thing every single day, well, you're going to get the same exact results. You read that book, you start thinking differently, you start acting differently. And when that starts to happen, you start getting different results displayed in your life. So Think and Grow Rich is probably one of the first books I would ever tell someone to read. The next book is just Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about how money works. He talks about, in this book, he talks about his poor dad and his rich dad. His poor dad was his real dad. His rich dad was his friend's dad. But his poor dad, you know, obviously told him, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, you know, do that for 40 years of your life and then stay on the left-hand side of the quadrant. But his rich dad told him about money, told him about, you know, building a system and making people work for you. So that's a great book to read. And then if you're coming into the network marketing industry, Go Pro by Eric Worre is an amazing book because it breaks it down so simply. And that was one of the books that I read in 2015 that really helped me treat this like a business. You know, a lot of people come into network marketing with that lottery ticket mindset because it does deal with, you know, who you bring in and how they perform. So, you know, when someone first gets started, they're like, well, I know this one guy that knows a ton of people. If I get him to join, he's going to bring all his people in and I won't have to work that hard. Well, they go show that person and then the person doesn't get started. And then they're like, well, why am I not a millionaire yet? So when they read Go Pro and they read that book, they'll start to kind of treat it like a business and be like, you know what, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's not up to anybody else. I have to go put in that work. And then, you know, the late, great Jim Rohn has a couple different good books that I like to read. But Building Your Empire also is a great book. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, I've read. You know, that's a very good book. But those would probably be my top 5 or 6 books that I would suggest someone reading right away.
Nice, man. Let's talk about your network marketing and how it kind of works. You were saying you kind of got to bring people in. So is it kind of like a pyramid thing? I just want to kind of see how the Forex trading works, I guess.
So the iMarkets Live, it's two different. It's two different sides to it. So you can come in as a customer, and your product is the educational platform. So when someone buys something, you know, they basically got shown from a friend or on social media, somehow, some way you were introduced to it from somebody. You didn't see a billboard. You didn't see an ad. You're never going to see any advertising on TV for it. It's all going to be word of mouth. So you had to join through someone else that did the advertising for iMarkets Live. So let's just say, Brent, you're like, you know what? I want to be a part of iMarkets Live. I want to learn how to trade Forex. So you would pay money to have access to the platform. That's the first side of it. So as a customer, and as a customer, you're going to learn how to trade. You're going to be able to follow experts like myself, be able to hop on Zoom calls, be able to trade alongside with experts and make money from basically just learning from them and taking their trades. In this industry of Forex, it's very volatile, and a lot of people lose because they don't have strategies. They don't know what to do. It's kind of hard to actually be good at it unless you have something to follow. And that's where iMarkets Live comes into play. So iMarkets Live main side is the customer. Now, the other part of it is expanding the marketing for the company. So Christopher Terry is the CEO. And when he started this company, Christopher Terry, I'll go through him first, because Christopher Terry has been trading for about 25 years, and he's made over $200 million trading Forex.
Damn.
It came to a point where he had so much money where he's like, you know what, I want to give back. Like, I want to help other people, because he was a construction worker out in New York, busting his butt, figured out what Forex was, and just decided, he's like, you know what, I want to help other people that were in the same shoes as me, have success like I was able to have. So he used to fly around all around the country holding 2-day seminars, trying to teach people how to trade Forex. And it wasn't as effective as he wanted it to be. People would come, they pay the money to learn it for those 2 days. And there wasn't a lot of success stories, because trying to learn Forex in 2 days is like impossible.
Yeah.
So he came up with the idea of iMarkets Live, where you could have access 24/7, 365 days of the year, where as a beginner trader or as an amateur trader, you could come in and you could have access to these gurus, these mentors, because just like we talked about earlier, to be successful, you got to have a mentor in your life that can guide you in the right direction. So when you're trying to learn Forex, you need that mentor. And that's what the company's for, is for you to be able to have that every single day. Now, you can go out and share it. So, when I go and share it with you, Brent, if you decide to get started, since I'm the one sharing it with you, I get a little bit of the pie. Like, since I'm doing all the marketing and you're going to pay an amount to start it, to be able to join as a customer, I get paid a commission based upon, which package you decide, just like selling anything in life.
Yeah.
I want to use this kind of as a great educational piece for people. Network marketing gets a really bad name, but network marketing is just another form of distribution. That's all it is. Mary Kay, they sell makeup. You don't see billboards, you don't see ads. It's a bunch of girls with white hair going around talking about Mary Kay. So they're out there pushing the makeup. It's just like how, Gillette, we see commercials for Gillette, trying to shave our faces. Well, they're paying for that advertising. They're paying so people will come in and buy their razors.
Yeah.
Well, things like Mary Kay, Pampered Chef, Amway, Herbalife, Isogenics, all these companies, they, instead of paying for advertising, they pay people to go out and share it. And the better you are at going out and sharing it and building a successful sales team, the more you're going to get paid. So in the business that I do, there's two sides, like I've been saying. There's a side where you can learn how to trade Forex and make money that way. But then there's a second part where if you go out there and you're good at sharing it and telling the story very, very well with integrity, not overhyping, not fudging numbers, you're going to build a very big organization and a very stable organization. Now, if I was to tell you, Brent, you can get started in iMarkets Live and in 30 days, you're going to become a millionaire, I'd probably get a lot of people that would sign up,
Yeah.
But guess what? When that 30 days comes and you're like, well, why am I not a millionaire yet?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to quit. So when you're telling someone about Forex, you want to make sure you're giving them, real standards. And that's what I do. And that's how I build my business. So, you can come in and you can decide to be an affiliate, and you can decide to grow it. And what's nice is if I decide to refer you, Brent, and then if you have a big network, well, with us, it's paid out accordingly. We have a complete compensation plan, but 12 customers pay $600 a month. If you have 12 people a part of your team, that's $600 a month. 30 would pay you $1,000. 75 would pay you $2,000. 225 pays $5,000. 500, which I hit in 3.5 months, pays $10,000 a month. All the way up to 30,000 customers will pay you $500,000 a month. And, I look at it this way. The reason why we joined this company is because we looked at Minneapolis, St. Paul, just alone had like 3.2 million people just in the Twin Cities.
Dang.
Well, 30,000 will pay you $500,000 a month. But no one knows about iMarkets Live. No one knows about it in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota. The whole entire Midwest is completely wide open. And we're just the pioneers. We're the ones going out there, and we're the ones out really going out there to build it.
I was going to ask you, how are you approaching like these influencers or people that you want to add onto your team? If you wanted to share, how you're going about talking to them, are you showing them the value in it and things like that? How are you approaching them?
So I allow people to hop on my Zoom calls. I do about 3 trading nights a week. And if anybody I meet at the gym or I meet out and about, or Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever, if anybody reaches out to me and wants to know kind of what I do, I'll invite them to hop on one of my trading sessions and just let them watch me trade, watch me help, 1,000+ people on a night make money. And if they're intrigued and if they want to learn more, I'll send them more information, or I'll let them see what the company is all about. And if they want to get started, they can get started. But I just utilize Instagram, Facebook, going out and about, meeting people. And then anybody that joins my business, obviously they have a complete network that I don't know about. So if they want to build a business too, that gives me a whole contacts list that I can go through and basically prospect and grow as a customer base.
All right, man. We could talk forever. This is a great podcast, but I think my thing is only limited to 45 minutes. So let's close it here with one piece of advice you'd give to the listeners, as far as, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but one piece of advice you'd give to the listeners.
The one piece of advice I definitely would give to anybody listening to this right now, if you were just listening for the last 45 minutes and you're just like, you know what, I've been at my job for freaking who knows how long, and I'm sick and tired of someone else telling me what to do, and I'm sick and tired of making a certain amount of money, and at the end of the 2 weeks, my check coming in, it's already spent because the last 2 weeks I've had to pay for groceries, rent, car payments, whatever, and I have absolutely no money left. I'm drowning in debt. I'm drowning in student loan debt, and I am not happy currently doing what I'm doing. Do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So I encourage every single person that is out there, keep an open mind. If an opportunity comes into your life, your mind works like a parachute. If it's not open, you're going to fall to the ground, you're going to die. So you're going to need to learn how to have an open mind. Listen to something that someone's trying to show you, even if they're your best friend and they know nothing about money, they know nothing about business, they may be bringing you an opportunity that you never know that might actually change your life. That could actually be something, because the world is changing. The idea of the 40-40-40 plan is not around anymore. It's 2019. If you're not making money from your smartphone, you might as well call it a dumb phone. Because there's so many different avenues to make money nowadays. You got to figure out, and you got to keep an open mind, and you just got to do something different. instead of watching TV, instead of playing video games, instead of going out and going to the movies, how about work on yourself, read a book, do whatever differently than what you're currently doing right now.
Love it, man. I appreciate you joining the show. Reason why I've been in contact with you, we don't really know each other other than like Clear Lake and sports and stuff like that, is I feel like we're kind of the same person in a sense. We're all about sports, and we wanted to go to college and then go to the pros and stuff like that. And now we both have built our own businesses and are pretty successful in doing so. So that's why I want another winner in my corner. Like you said, network is your net worth. So I want to stay in contact with you, man, and hopefully we can get some basketball going again and things like that. So once again, thanks for joining the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, Brent.
All right, brother.
Cool, man. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.